Hello, Heather again, and welcome to the last video in the What Kind of Society virtual class, where we'll be talking about information society or disinformation society and a few other things and wrapping up. Learning outcomes for this video are a high-level understanding of the concept of an information or knowledge society, technological determinism, one critique of information society, which is post-truth society, and that there are diverse perspectives on what kind of society we live in. Okay, so information society, what is this? Here's the vision statement from the 2013 Geneva-based World Summit on the Information Society. There, the representatives of the peoples of the world declare our common desire and commitment to build a people-centered, inclusive, and development-oriented information society where everyone can create, access, utilize, and share information and knowledge, enabling individuals, communities, and peoples to achieve their full potential and promoting their sustainable development and improving their quality of life, premised on the purposes and principles of the Charter of the United Nations and respecting fully and upholding the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. So that's the vision. Sounds lovely, doesn't it? And information society, what a great fit for the information professionals. I encourage you to have a look at the World Summit on the Information Society's website, the Geneva Principles, the Tunis Commitment, and their annual fora as well. However, is this new, this idea of the information society? Let's go back to an earlier technology, the lightning lines, which is what some people called the telegraph when it first came out. Daniel Sintrom, in his book Media and the American Mind, talked about how some people became intoxicated with what the telegraph would bring to the future. They talked about it as a twin miracle, the grand moral effects of instantaneous communication, and the wonderful mystery of the lightning lines themselves. Universal communication became the key phrase in these exhortations. The electric telegraph promised a unity of interest, men linked by a single mind, and the worldwide victory of Christianity. So what are some of the underlying ideas behind this grand vision, whether it's information society or whether it's the lightning lines and the unification of men and the worldwide victory of society? One of the basic ideas is teleology, or the idea that we're progressing towards an endpoint. This is something that we saw earlier on with modernity. In this viewpoint, technological determinism is common. So the idea is that as we are unfolding our progress towards the optimal development, and certainly the World Summit on the Information Society is achieving the goals of development, is simply technology unfolds to allow us to progress to get towards this goal. Okay, so what about the goal itself, the utopia? It's a lot easier to critique the utopia when you're looking back a few years because the lightning lines, they were talking about men, meaning not women, and the worldwide victory of Christianity. And is that really everybody's idea of utopia? So, are we in fact moving towards the information society, or as Cook points out in her article, are we living in a post-truth era? One of her key points is that we have a need for critical information literacy, which is certainly a good news for information professionals. We're needed regardless of whether we're looking at an information society or a disinformation society. There's roles for us. The evidence that she provides is fake news, which is not new, and lots of misinformation and disinformation out there on the internet. The idea of post-truth, unlike the information society, seems to fit more, at least in my perspective, with postmodern theory. For example, Baudrillard's simulacra, the hyperreal, fit well with this perspective on today's society. It seems to explain things. So to sum up, what kind of society do we live in, or do we want to live in or progress towards? The answer to this question depends on who you are. Depending on who you are, we might be modern, making progress towards an ideal endpoint of development, some kind of utopia, but whose utopia and what will it look like if we get there? Are we postmodern, which could be seen as either a particular phase in modernity or postmodernity, where we've actually gone past modernity? Are we in a neoliberal society that prioritizes market above all else? Or are we moving past neoliberalism? And if so, what are we moving towards? Are we in an information society? Misinformation, disinformation, post-truth society? So what do you think? So that's going to be the exercise that goes along with this video.